Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Adventures of D&J, where me and my husband James take you through all of our travel adventures. And so today we want to talk to you, meaning me, want to talk to you about his hidden Disney cruise activities that you may not know about. So come along with us and we'll talk through them. So the first one I want to talk to you about, so Disney is a magical experience. There's a lot of magic that they infuse into their cruises. And we would be walking down our last cruise, we would be walking out of our room and down a hallway, and that's where a lot of the characters would come and they would enter and exit. So we got to interact with a lot of Disney characters. There's a lot of different things that they do. We got a special guest kind of certificate from one of the photographers that we've known on a couple different cruises, and just make your experience a little more magical. But there's a lot of things that happen that's not necessarily put on by Disney, that just the guests create their own magic. And these are what we want to talk to you today, because you don't want to miss out on these. And once on board, you can't really do much about some of these things. And so if you know beforehand, that's going to be awesome. So let's talk. So the first would be magnets. All the Disney doors and walls on the cruise ships are magnetic. And so what a lot of people do is they take different kinds of magnets and they put them on their doors. And they can get those made. There's a lot of places that you can make them for you, like Etsy, and actually I think Amazon has some too. And there also are DIYers that kind of do their own thing. So when we go on, we like to theme it around what our cruise is on. So if we go on a Halloween cruise, we have Halloween magnets, Disney magnets. We went on a Christmas one recently, and we put those magnetic hooks around the door frame, and then we put battery operated lights and almost like Christmas lights, and then some magnets on our door. We just went on a Star Wars cruise, so we had Star Wars magnets, and then all different kinds. So there's a lot of Facebook groups. If you just search like free Disney graphics for personal use, stuff like that, and we'll try to link them in the description below, that have a lot of these files just in their Facebook group. And they're there for you to use personally, right? Like they don't want you to use it and make a business off of it selling magnets, but you can print those out, and you can either print them out on magnetic paper, or what we do is we print them out, laminate them, and then we just tape some magnets on the back and put it on your door and make it however you want to make it. And so you'll see a lot of cruisers with their doors decorated. So don't miss out on this, because your kids are going to want their doors decorated too. The only caveat is it's a magnetic door. They definitely want you to use magnets. Don't use sticky stuff that's going to be hard to remove or damage their door. They really want you to utilize those magnets. So get to decorating and decide what kind of decorations you want, and get ready, because it's an awesome experience. And we just like walking up and down the hallways looking at everybody's doors because they're so interesting. The second has to do with fish extenders. And you're like, what's a fish extender? So right outside your door to your room is this little fish, and it's kind of like a clip, and they'll put different things on there. If they used to, actually, I don't know if they'll put anything else right now. They used to put your tickets back in the day when you had excursions and stuff like that, but everything's on the app now, and it's totally digital and electronic. So there's a fish. And so what people do is they hang this almost pouch-like system, and we'll put a link to some fish extender information below too. And so what I recommend is, for anybody, is to find your Facebook group for your cruise, because a lot of people will establish Facebook groups for their cruises. Disney is way more, the cruise line is way more involved, those Facebook groups, than most, because there's just so many different components to the cruises, and they are awesome. They will answer your questions. If you're a new cruiser, if you're an experienced cruiser, with our first cruise from the pandemic, we had so many questions because we hadn't learned the new check-in processes and when to do what, and they were super helpful. But on those groups, they'll also arrange the fish extenders. So you have this pouch-like system. They sign you up into groups, and usually, it's all up to that group on how they want to function it. Sometimes they do adult only ones, sometimes they do family, sometimes it's all combined. And you usually get in groups of 10 cabins, and you give gifts to each other. And this is kind of however you want it to be. There's not really like official rules on what you're supposed to do, how much you're supposed to spend, but just think of it like little trinkets. And sometimes we'll do one for each of the kids, but we'll do a group one for the parents, or if there's just 2 adults in there and not a full room, maybe we'll do separate gifts. It just depends on what you want to do. And there's a lot of different, even if you Google Etsy and Amazon, there's a lot of different gift ideas on there too. And then you just put those gifts inside the pouches, and it's almost like a fun, exciting experience for the family when you get back to your room. And sometimes there's stuff in there, and it's super cool. It's almost like Christmas, but without Santa Claus and Disney. So the only recommendation I have with regards to fish extender is you got to go into this with only wanting to give and not to receive, because there will be certain cabins, for whatever reasons, right? Maybe they canceled their cruise, maybe they couldn't get on board, maybe they forgot, who knows, that signed up and just don't participate, and you end up giving them gifts and they don't end up giving you any back. Really no big deal. You just have to go into it with you only want to give and not receive. But we definitely have received a lot of cool things, from little cheapy handmade trinkets to some really nice cool stuff that we still use 5 years later. So it's a fun experience. They also, on these Facebook groups, will do different things depending on your group, like ornament exchanges. So if you're into that, you can exchange ornaments. They will also do magnet exchanges and all different kinds of things. It just depends on your group and whoever's organizing it. And it's just a fun experience. And so if that interests you, they're not doing it. So with the pandemic, they aren't doing it right now, but they've just removed a lot of COVID protocols. And so I anticipate them getting back to this real soon. So our next one in October, our group's already planning, like those are probably going to be allowed back. So hopefully we get to do it again and we get to show you on one of our videos. So number 3 also is the exchanges. So I mentioned, you have the ornaments and you have the magnets, but they have all different types of gift exchange options that don't necessarily go in the fish extender. But to kind of piggyback off that Facebook group mention that I had just said, they do a lot of other types of things besides just answer your questions. So there's group activities that, depending on your group and depending on who wants to organize it, they will do. So a lot of the beverage tastings that they have through Disney, so they have mixology, they have a wine beverage, a beer beverage, a tequila beverage, all different kinds of things. Those can book up really quickly, depending on your booking level, castaway level. And sometimes you're not able to get those for a time slot that seems to work with your schedule. So a lot of times these Facebook groups will organize their own. You can do private ones, and it's super helpful because you're able to get into potentially something that's sold out through Disney through a private experience. So don't miss out on that. If that's something you interest you, that hopefully your Facebook group can organize. It's a really cool experience. If you have never done one of those mixology courses, you get to learn a lot about, we did one with the wine recently. We got to learn a lot about the wine, the region, why it was called certain things, how it pairs with different flavors. So awesome, super awesome. So join the Facebook group. If you haven't heard anything in this video, join the Facebook group. That's really good. And then the last thing, hidden experiences that you may not know about. This is not specific to Disney, but it is specific to cruising. And I see it more on Disney than I probably would see it other places, but it's called Cruising Ducks. So if you caught one of our last videos, we had found a bunch of ducks, and we had never done this before. We found a bunch of rubber duckies, hidden around the cruise ship, and you can either keep them or you can hide them again for somebody, and they want you to take a picture and post it on their Facebook group, Cruising Ducks. And so that's something we will probably do next cruise line. It was a fun experience, again, not put on by Disney, that people just do to just have a little extra magic on your trip. And so we plan on getting some ducks and hiding them around the cruise ship because it was fun to do. So those are some tips and tricks of hidden Disney activities that aren't actually put on by Disney. And so you will not know about them unless you find out through some other source. So again, the biggest takeaway I feel like is join your Facebook group for your cruise. They will help you through a lot of these different things, and you can have a magical experience. So if this was helpful for you, please give us a thumbs up. If you like our content, please also subscribe, share. And if you have any tips and tricks that maybe are hidden Disney Cruise Line activities, please comment below. We want to share the knowledge with everybody that you can have a magical cruise. Thank you. See you again soon. Bye.